Hi, you're listening to the One More Cup podcast, hosted by me, Deanna Harner. With over 20 years in corporate America, I take you out of the boardroom and into the real coffee chats that have actually shaped my path. So come for the coffee, but stay for the conversation. Hi, this is Deanna Harner, One More Cup podcast. I am here with one of my best friends and tribe members, Stefani Ducote. We met a few years back in college. She has been a student, what would you call that?
Student?
Like you would say colleague, but what do you call like a peer in college? College.
Friends. Classmates.
That's the word I was
Like, what are you trying to say? Always be recording, because then you can cut all these in and weave it. So all that was great stuff, because that's how we work. It's called a classmate. So just keep going with your story.
So we were classmates. We have been colleagues. She has been my boss, one of the best I've had. And when I started in consulting, she was my first client. So, and since then, and outside of all of that, we are currently in Missouri, where she is helping me on her time off decorate my new house. And in 2 days, phenomenal work. So that's a little bit about Stefani and why I'm so grateful that she's here to have one more cup with me today.
I'm glad to be here.
Yay! Cheers.
I'm tired.
You're tired? Why?
From painting.
You painted?
Okay.
Is there a video of that?
Maybe.
I want to reflect a little bit on what I remember from our first meeting and then hear your perspective on that as well. So what I recall, and this is one of probably in my life, the most cosmic moments of meeting someone and knowing immediately they're going to be in my life. Like I didn't know it'd last this long, but I just knew like there was a connection with this person. So we were in a marketing class towards the end of our college days, when you start getting really like it matters now, like what your grades are and how you do on projects. And you want to pick good team members, because otherwise you're doing all the work, right?
Yeah.
And we had our professor was like, hey, you've got this project, so pick somebody in the class you want to work with. I hadn't really met her. I don't know if we talked at all, but I had been in enough classes and seen her around that I was like, you. So we like looked at each other across the room and like had this eye contact. It was like, you're my person. And that was it for the next couple of years.
Yeah. I remember it that way. I don't remember all of those thoughts going through my head, because you're very much more a connection person and green energy, and I'm creative and yellow. But I remember looking at you and just kind of clicking and going, yep, we're going to do this project together. And I remember the room we were in. I remember the professor. I remember all of that, which is typical for us. She remembers all the details about the words and the
Feelings.
Thoughts and the feelings. And I remember the surroundings in the room and that and the food and those kind of things. So we go well together with our memories.
That's right, because we actually go back. It's the University of Houston, and we go back every so many years, and we take a picture in that same classroom, which we would not be able to do without her brain, because I don't remember that detail. I know it was a classroom.
Yeah, and we might have written on the whiteboard with a permanent marker one time, sorry, U of H. But
we wanted to let them know we came back. Like that was a moment we wanted them to remember. We just didn't know it was going to be permanent marker.
Yeah. Oops.
There was no wine involved in that moment, I promised.
Nope.
And then as we continued to partner in college in, classes and coursework, we had kind of the top and last class was a food practicum, because we were in hotel and restaurant management, because at 18, we knew what we were going to do our entire careers, right? We're still doing that, right? We're still in hotel and restaurant management?
No.
Nope. One of our major projects we had to work on was basically managing a kitchen in a restaurant. And so one night you had to go out and get the marketing and get people in the seats in the restaurant. And the other night you were in the kitchen cooking enough food for whatever you're anticipating coming into the restaurant. And we had one of our first times that we worked together that we had a challenging coworker. And I think it's been long enough. We can say his name was Zach. And so that was a great experience for us that we just like bonded a little bit more over that because he was like so tough on us. Like I think he thought we were competition, but like I at least I'll speak for myself. I didn't see him as competition. We just were kicking ass and doing what we do and showing up with the energy that you see. But he was like he wrote. I still have it today, and I think you said you still
Yes,
have
I
it.
do.
Our review that he wrote on like how bad we were.
Yeah.
Ridiculous, but yeah.
Not a great team player, always wanted to control every situation, which was good experience for us in college. And we look back at it a lot because you run across a lot of those people on your teams for the rest of your life. And so we got to experience it then and learn from it and just keep reflecting back to it when we run into those
Yep.
types of people in the future. So,
And remember, it's not about you, right? Like we didn't take it as personal, really. We kind of laughed about it. Was like, well, that's interesting.
mhm.
What of that can you actually take and use to improve yourself? And what is like,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
So, yep, that's kind of how we do things. I think that you and I have similar memories of college. How about after college? What do you remember about us staying connected after college? Because we went different directions, different cities,
Yeah.
and all of
You
that.
did go into hotels. I did not. I went more of finance and operations route. And then I found a food job with the airlines and got to use a little bit of the food knowledge that I learned
Yeah.
at the hotel school and loved that job so much. And that's when I reached out to you. I was like,
Yes, you
hey,
did.
come on over here. Let's work together. And that was our first time working together after college.
It was, and she got me connected with the executive chef of Continental Airlines, and I came down to Houston, and I had moved to Chicago, so and after college, you don't make any money, and I was living in Chicago, which is really expensive, and so a free flight back home to Houston to see my family and friends. I was grateful to you for just a free flight. Like, even if I didn't get the job, I'd be like, yes, friend, thank you. And so I remember the interview with Ziggy. He was like a really tough chef, German, no nonsense guy. And I'm in the room and I'm trying to recall this stuff from college that we learned. I had forgotten all of it. And like he was asking me like what temperature you keep food. And whatever temperature I said, he's like, the food would be frozen.
But you're hired.
But you're hired. I can train you. I can make you into something.
Yeah.
Little did he know. So yeah, that was a great experience because that was one of the most proud, jobs that I had working for Continental Airlines because you really got to learn from Gordon and the way he set that leadership team up to challenge each other and like have different opinions around the table and that's okay and to encourage us to like say what we really thought needed to be done to make sure that the customers got where they needed on time safely with their bags, right?
Mhm.
And that was my experience that I constantly go back to and reflect on as a leader and think, how can I incorporate that into what I'm doing today? How do you remember Continental and kind of use that in your work today?
Same. I just moved into a new shop and a new building and a new office, and front and center on my desk is Gordon's book, Worst to First, and a poster of Continental Airlines over the Twin Towers. So those are the two things that
Oh,
went up in
wow.
my office first. So Gordon, for both of us, Gordon and Greg's vision for the company was very clear. 4 points, 4 pillars. Everybody was on the same page. Everybody could remember it. There was not one person at Continental that didn't know what our goal was.
Not one.
Which I have strived to do at every leadership position I've been in. Try to simplify it down to 3 or 4 points for the team, even at Comcast.
Yeah,
ROI, right? So you remembered it. See? Just something that everybody can remember to be on the same page and march to the same beat. And that's been instilled with me. And also give rewards, the on-time bonus checks, the perfect attendance programs, all the little things he did that didn't cost millions of dollars, but it still got everybody focused on the same page toward the same goal. So yeah, that's what I took away still today. I use from Continental, Gordon and Greg's.
Keep it simple and get people going on in one direction.
Yep.
together. And I remember when he did the on-time check, and everyone at the company got $100 if we were in the top three.
We were number one. We got
Number one
100.
was
Yeah.
100, and then 75 for
65 if we were
65.
top three.
Yeah, see,
Yep.
she remembers part, I got the other part. So we, everyone at the company, whether you are a pilot who was actually pushing the aircraft back on time, or if you were in accounts payable, and he had, a lot of flack for that.
Mhm.
So, what is your perspective on that as a leader now?
I, what part of the watch don't you need, right? I mean, it
Yeah,
takes every single person from, in my case, it's usually sales and operations kind of butting heads with each other. Who's
always.
more important? Sales comes first or you make it first? All that whole argument. It doesn't matter. We're all the same team. And if you sell it and I can't make it, or I make it and you can't sell it, then we're kind of still at $0 for the company. So it takes everybody. That's kind of what I take away from that whole on time bonus.
Yeah, it's at the end of the day, it's about the customer,
Yeah.
right? No matter industry, where you're working, what you're doing, like if the customer is happy and they get what they need on time, the right item, like they're good. And that's what's the focus,
So
right?
I'm going to turn that on its head a little bit with all the experience I've had. I don't think it's about the customer at the end of the day. I think it's about the employee. So both of us studied hotel restaurant management. We went into very different industries. Right now I'm in metal fabrication. I mean, that has nothing to do with hotel restaurant management. We were in cable, we were in airlines, we were in what was he? Oh, trucking and
Yeah.
manufacturing and
Yeah.
cars. All of that's, you can learn the skills and the trades, but at the end of the day, it's about the people.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
if your people aren't on the same page as you're not going to have any customers.
It's so
So
true.
you got to focus on the employees first. And then customers, yeah, you need customers, but you need the employees to all be on the same page and happy and want to come to work.
Yeah, I remember so many times in my career, I'd go back to Gordon for mentoring and I'd be like, the company or leader almost has it, but they're missing this piece. And he always said that to me time and time again. He's like, if they don't get that people are the lifeline of them reaching their goals, you can't do anything about that. Right. So that stayed with me. It is about making sure that everyone understands, keep it simple, and that they know what path they're supposed to be going on together.
Yep.
So love it. Was there a moment in our relationship that you like knew that this was going to be a long-term friendship? Or is it just kind of I just stuck to you like glue and
Yeah. Whenever you find somebody that you click with, I think you just keep going back to them over and over.
yeah.
And that's in my mind what happened. I don't have that like magic spark or anything that I remember happening, but it's just over time you have the people that you call, need advice from, or want to come work with you again. So I just kept calling you
You
every
did.
job.
You did. I had a really good job and then you called me for Comcast and I'm like, I can't say no to you. Like I can't. I can't. I wouldn't ever.
You
Like
can learn how to weld. I'll hire you here.
I would
Come on.
become a welder just to work for you again. Like no kidding. Like can we pay for this house
My son
as
can
a
teach you.
welder?
Come on.
Let's go. Okay. Trent, I'm expecting you to make me the best welder there is. So let's talk a little bit about like, I know, you've kind of been in finance operations your whole career, but like you said, in cable and airline, and I mean, it's all slightly different, right? So why do you think that you've kind of taken the skills and pivoted to different roles or different companies throughout your career? And, is there any continuality that you see that kind of has shown up in each of those roles?
So I think about this a lot when I'm kind of looking at my own resume and my own career path. I think what's made me successful in being able to do finance, operations, sale, all the different things I'm doing is that I genuinely want to understand people's jobs and their motivations. When I'm in operations,
Yeah.
I want to understand what makes this better or worse. When I'm in finance, that's what you have to understand with the numbers. What makes you more profitable and less profitable? Where's your margin erosion? All this type of things. And in order to understand that, I can't just sit at my desk and look at numbers and spreadsheets. I had to get up and go out and go to the ramp and throw bags or go to the kitchens and make food and watch and see where your money is going down the drain when I was in finance role. So I was always able to cross over pretty easily because I was genuinely curious. I didn't want to tell people from a finance role how to do their jobs. I didn't want in operations to have any animosity to finance. It's all about us learning and understanding each other's roles. And I don't know that there's a lot of people that do that. So when I would do that, I would get pulled to come help. Come help me with this, Stephanie. And then I would end up in operations and I would help them with that. Then finance would pull me, hey, come help us with this, Stephanie. So I'd go help them with that. So I just start learning a lot of the different parts of companies and jobs and what makes everything tick. So yeah, just genuine curiosity and wanting to make whatever I was doing better.
Yeah. So curiosity, that doesn't surprise me at all. That's what you say is kind of the guiding path. And I think that what I resonate with that is that when you go out and know what it's like to be on the ramp or in the kitchen or welding in your shop floor, like you also get a certain type of respect, right? Because you're just not coming in and I am the VP of operations, right? Or whatever your title is or whatever that influence you have. Like you're going to build influence based on your actions of going onto the shop floor or onto the ramp. And once they see you, like in the midst of them, like I think back to myself when I saw a leader like Gordon walking the floors, right, and talking to the people working, it was like, oh, okay, this guy's real,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I think that curiosity, as you call it, but also your willingness to not take your title and just force things, but like, hey, I'm going to learn what you do, and we're going to apply some of that knowledge and insight to make this better.
Yep. Yeah. Titles can, I mean, I can't even tell you how often I use my title.
Yeah.
Maybe a handful in the last year. I don't say it. I'm just Stephanie. I'm here to help. Show me what to do. I show up at my customers' yards, lay down yards, and I'm sifting through pipe supports and sweating my butt off and buying pizza. And we're just having a good time and learning together. And now I can go back to my shop and tell my team. I always take pictures and show them where I've been. I can explain to them what our customers go through. Why do I have to make some of these things
Huge.
5 times? Well, because this yard is an acre of all kinds of different metal and it gets lost and they're building a freaking plant. So let's just make this thing another time. It's okay. So just explaining to them what the customer experience is because you lose sight of that sometimes.
Easily,
Yeah.
especially if you sit like kind of in an ivory tower of sorts.
Mhm.
I remember at Continental when I was doing menu development and we were taking photos after every menu and sending it out to the catering units. And then when they went into the catering units, they weren't using them. And I was like, what the heck? Like we spent all this time. And then to your point, it reinforced like you can do whatever you want up here in leadership if it's not like impacting the productivity, like and the people, and they're not understanding why they're there and what they're supposed to be doing. It doesn't really matter.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. How do we continually show up for each other through these pivots? I know my perspective. What do you think?
How or why?
Either one.
I mean, how we show up. I don't know that I'm always the best at showing up at the drop of a hat or being available, but we make it happen.
Yeah.
And
You're
we just have to
here.
prioritize it. I'm here, but how long did it take you to ask me?
Well,
Like
I
2
am
months.
persistent.
You are.
I am
You're very
persistent.
persistent. But
Tenacity, someone called me this morning already. I was like, yes, that works.
that's true.
Yeah.
But I do know if you call and need something or I call and need something, we are there for each other. It might not be right that second, but it will
course.
be, before the next couple of days ends.
Yeah.
And you know me very well. You know my history, all of my trauma. And we
What a great setup.
yeah, and we know how to work through it. And you're just like, hey, you're being dumb again. Remember you already did that. Don't do it again. Type and we can just
Be real.
be real
Be
with each other.
authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Well, you allow me to do that too, right? So like I can be myself and feel comfortable with that. And not everyone does that. And I don't know, it's just from that college moment. I was like, yeah, you're my people. And like, I'm just like, she's stuck with me. And I'm just glad you feel the same way. So we talked a little bit about like where we met in our journey. If you were to go back to the 20-year-old and with a hindsight of what you know today, to help them like through the worst parts or the challenging parts or even the best parts, like what would you tell the younger Stephanie starting her career that would maybe help some of it be a little bit easier? And we can think about our kids, right? Our son, your son and my daughter are months apart. And if we were to like give some of our imparted wisdom to them and they listened, what would that be?
That's exactly what I thought of when you asked me that was my son, and the advice that I give him today. It is about perspective. Even just this morning, there's something he's worried about. I was like, stop worrying. It's a minor thing. It will be okay. It'll be there tomorrow. It's a thing. Um,
Mm, not to sweat the small stuff kind of thing?
Not to sweat the small stuff. Yes. That's part of it, of course. I mean, as you get older, everybody learns that, I think.
Yeah.
But from a 20-year-old self career perspective, I think it's very important to find your cheerleader
Mm,
wherever you are working.
mm,
And not necessarily where you're working. If you can find somebody in the industry or the network that you grab onto that has a similar personality or someone that even challenges you, hang on to them and be able to go back and ask advice as you move up your career. But at each company, I would find a cheerleader, uh, a person that you respect, a person that has your best interest, which is hard because everybody has their own interest. Everybody's looking out for their own career, but they exist. So watch, listen. If you find that person, don't be afraid to ask them, hey, can I can you give me some advice? Can I keep coming to you? Can you be an open door, a sounding
right.
board for me? Don't be scared to find that person, whether it's a man or a woman,
Yeah, it
doesn't
doesn't
matter.
matter.
Mm-mm. Just find somebody. Because
It's really whoever's a natural connection.
yeah,
Yeah,
that
I think.
that'll help
Yeah,
at each of the different businesses when you're feeling frustrated and the politics, because there's going to be politics wherever you go.
it's not greener. It's just
No,
different.
it's just a different color. Yeah, find that person and don't be scared to ask for help and advice.
That's huge. I wish I would have known that at 20. Like, I remember in college, you're like, you need to network and you need to find your people. And I didn't have any clue what that meant. Right. And to me, what you're saying is not just at the current place, but even outside of the current place, like find your people that you can call.
Yeah, I mean, networking's such a buzzword, and
Yeah, I
in
know.
my industry, it's just networking sometimes is just an
Yeah.
excuse to go to the bar and drink, but to me,
Yeah. It's
it's more than that. It's a person. If I find one person, to me, that's okay
success.
networking.
Yeah.
It's not, 10 people. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, it's a real connection. Like you may meet 10 people within that company, but there may only be one that you connect with afterwards or even during. Yeah, I call them tribe, and most of my tribe are people I met at work, right? Who then become something more outside of work.
Yep.
What I would tell my 20-year-old self is like to take care of yourself first. Like as you're trying to advance your career, and of course, career is important because it pays for the basics in life that we enjoy. But like take time for yourself, take care of yourself. Like and balance. I know you and I've talked about balance and like that word. I don't think either one of us likes, but like the idea is to whatever zone of life you're in, like put yourself first. Because to your point, like even your leader who may have the best interest or maybe not your best interest at heart, like they have their own agenda, right? They have their own things that they're there for and looking for. And so you have to take care of yourself first. And it could be inside work, outside of work, but just center on yourself because then no matter what happens, you're calling the right person, you're doing what you can to like get through that challenge. I wish I would have known that at 20.
Yeah.
So
Good advice.
thank you. Cheers.
Okay.
What's in your coffee cup?
Whatever coffee you make me.
Oh, that was Cassie.
Oh, okay.
I was hoping you would say Kahlua.
Oh, Bailey's.
Bailey's. It would be Bailey's. So we are actually in my new house in Missouri, and you came up to assist me on Friday night. And I think it was by the end of Friday night. Like I love HGTV, like that is my thing. And like outside of work, she's become my HGTV design star that I call in to help me. And like she pushes me not only at work, but also in design. Like I remember when you redid my master when I got a divorce and it was a dark green, and you were like, no, we're going light blue. And I was like, no, I need my cave. And it was like the best thing. So she's here in Missouri with me to get the house ready. And we did not change the furniture, but like tell the description of like that process of like you coming in with us, and we like in 2 days have like changed this house.
Using all the same stuff that was in the house, except I think we bought that.
Yeah, we bought
So-
one thing, like a little cube storage.
Yeah.
$30 at Walmart.
Other than that, we rearranged everything that was here that looked dark and dingy and old and
Not fitting together.
Yes,
Yeah,
but now
no
it
flow.
all fits together, and it's all the same stuff,
Yeah.
and it's light and bright.
We
yeah.
took dysfunction at the house and made it flow just like we do at work.
Oh, okay. You repackaged it so well.
I repackaged the trauma. That sets up perfectly for my favorite Stephanie quote.
Oh, good Lord.
And I tell you, when I share this story with you, and we'll talk about my perspective versus what you remember, but like when I tell people this phrase, they connect with it. And I know like you may not feel that same connection with the phrase, but it is so true. And kind of some of the things we've talked about are career and what would you tell your 20-year-old self, right? So when I made what I consider, now looking at it, a major pivot into consulting, I thought it would be simple. I was like, I've got all this industry experience across all these jobs. Consulting is going to be the easiest thing to move into. And I found it was very difficult. And I remember going to you before one of my, what I thought was going to be a make or break, like if this doesn't, this, sales pitch to this private equity partner doesn't go through, like my career's over, right? Which of course is always not true. There is not one thing that's going to destroy your career forever if you're resilient and you just get back up. But anyway, I thought it was one of those moments, and I called you and I was like, okay, how do I take, and really land this conversation with this private equity person? And you said that you were going to repackage some trauma that you had in your own personal past and some sales pitches that you had gotten. So I was getting ready for the sales pitch, and you were saying, I'm going to go back and use this information from my personal life and sales pitches that were effective and how I can use that to help you. And you said trauma repackaged, and like I, with my own like background and like thinking, yeah, like how do we make something negative or something challenging or an obstacle like positive in our future? Like instead of being a victim to it, like how do we take that challenge and use it to make us stronger in the future? And that's how I took that, and that's how I've seen you in your life, is when you have an obstacle, you're like, okay, that sucked, and I'm going to come back stronger. And so that's the the story that I remember from the conversation we had about trauma repackaged. And it now helps a lot of people I talk to. And it's like, this may be a challenging thing, but you can use that to be stronger, either yourself or someone else, because you were not helping yourself, you were helping me. But what do you recall from that conversation, and what's your perspective on me sharing that it actually has helped a lot of people?
I did expect it. I remember the conversation. I remember we were eating salads.
Which I don't remember.
I remember where we were. I don't remember saying the exact phrase, but that is something, it's something that we talk about,
Yeah.
learning from our past. As far as the trauma repackaged for me, it's more about not taking it personally, because something bad happened or some negative thing happened. I didn't get this job, or I didn't get that sale, or whatever, relationships and type of thing. It's not something I need to take personally.
Yeah.
And feel like I am not enough, or I am terrible, or I'm bad at this. It's reframing it to, well, that sucked. I don't want to do that again. So let's do something different. Yeah,
Beautiful.
it's not me.
Yeah.
Sometimes
She
it's sometimes it's how I acted. Sometimes it's a bad mistake I made, but it's not me.
Yeah.
So it's just learning from it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the only thing that we can do,
Mm.
right? We can't go back and change how we did something or what we did or, our decision to do that. It's like we can learn from it. And people say feel fast. I don't like that, but like learn fast and try not to repeat it,
Yeah.
right? And have strong people around you when you do. And you're like, hey,
Hey, remember that? You did that before. Don't do
you
it
didn't work
again.
so well. What
Yeah.
if we go somewhere different? And
Yeah.
that's why friendship is so important.
Yeah.
So I think one of the things that I hear a lot of younger professional women struggle with, and I remember having these questions when I was in my 20s before I had my child. How and what am I going to do as a mom? Right. Because I knew I wanted to be a professional. I knew I wanted to have a career. Um, Neither one of us grew up with a silver spoon and rich. We knew we wanted better things for ourselves and that we were going to have to work to get it. So as I started getting into the thought of motherhood, right? Like there's so many different perspectives on this. And I think all of that is beautiful and okay. What would you tell a younger professional who's like thinking, okay, like how I want to have this badass career like Stephanie and Deanna have. I want to have these great experiences and be where they're at in their career, but I also want to have a family and a kid. Like how does that work? What advice or input or thoughts would you share with that person?
Yeah. I think for me, I knew I wanted a child. I knew I loved to work. I was very fortunate to have my parents around me to help when needed. Not everyone has that good fortune,
Yeah.
but it was never a mom or a professional.
Mm,
It's me. I'm the same person. I'm Stephanie.
mhm.
Um, and I'm mom and I'm boss, or I'm mom and I'm accountant, or I'm mom and I'm a painter. Whatever it is you are, you're the same person. It's not two separate things. So I it was very important to me with my son for him to know that part of me and to
Mm,
know work
mm.
mom and home mom and football mom and baseball mom and all the things that you have
And
to be when
Deanna's
you're a mom.
crazy designer
Yeah,
friend.
he was there for all of
He
that.
was, yeah.
Every job, though, he went with me
Mhm.
to. He
Good.
met people in the office. He still asks me about Mr. Roy, the Marine, and everybody. Um, he connected with everybody, every job I had. He works for me now, which is such an amazing eh, turn of events of our life that I never thought would happen. But my dad took me to his shop when I was young. And I
Mm,
remember my dad showing me the electronics and the soldering machine. I remember the smell of the shop. And
mm.
now I know what my dad did. He was my dad, and he also did this thing when he was not at the house. And that was important to me, uh, to just have my son and my kids understand I'm all the same person, and this is what I do, and this is why I do it, and this is money. It's not. It's okay to talk about money. It's okay to talk about checks. It's okay to talk about budgets. It's okay to open all of that up for your kids so they learn all of that. It's nothing
And
to
that it's
hide.
hard work.
Yeah.
It's hard
So
work.
yeah, I don't know that it's not two separate things.
Yeah.
It's not a mom or a professional. It's
Yeah.
you're
And you
one.
don't have to make the choice, but you
Yeah,
can make the choice.
you can.
And I think that's the beautiful thing I've always thought. Like if you stay at home, like that's cool. If you work, that's great. It's like do what your heart tells you is the right thing for you.
Mhm.
Right. And so for both of us, it was to continue in our careers for a variety of different reasons. Right. And I think that if I were to go back and tell that younger person is like, You've got this, like, you're a badass, you're resilient, like, it's going to be okay. Like, being a parent is the best job that I've had. Right. Second is when I worked for you at Comcast, and then third was Continental. But anyway, like, being a parent is like, I mean, you're influencing a human, right? Like you are growing a human. You hope that they have the values and the confidence that you want them to have, but it is the best career that you can have. But you have to be, I always tell younger moms or people considering being a parent, the thing I said about myself that I wish I had done is taking care of myself. That's what I tell young professional women. Take care of yourself first, because then you're going to show up as a mom better. You're going to show up as a coworker who is the same person, to your point, right? These are not separate individuals. But if you don't take care of yourself first, you don't show up as an employee well because you're calling in sick or you're late or you're not performing and you're not being a great parent for the same reasons, right? Because you're sick and you're not healthy and whatever the case may be. So I tell them, don't like keep going, like do this, but take care of yourself. Are there any like boundaries that you put around work and life? I know we don't like balance. It's more about harmony is what I like, right? Like just making it all flow. But are there any like boundaries that you put around, like if you're with Trent, it's Trent time, or is that, or I don't know, just any boundaries that you as a mom and as an, executive that you think are important as you navigate both parts of you?
That's a great question. Now I'm always working.
Except for weekends when you come to the Lake of the Ozarks.
And you have no Wi-Fi.
Which tells a huge insight into Deanna if you do not know me. I bought a house and we had no Wi-Fi because why? I didn't call to set it up. But anyway, we survived.
Yes, we did.
And we wouldn't have got the paint done if we had a Wi-Fi probably, because we probably would have watched a TV show.
Correct. Boundaries. I think there's, it's just about focus and time. Right now, there's time that I spend with Trent fishing on a boat with the phone in the,
in the house,
wherever.
Mm-hmm.
I do have my phone with me on the boat because we've gotten stranded a few times, but it
okay,
stays.
well, that's good.
It stays in the box.
Okay.
Yeah. Just trying to close my mind to work because I am always thinking about work. And hard. There's always things going on in my brain about it, but just having to consciously turn it off and focus on a conversation we're having about life events that have just happened. And, again, putting the phone down, turning your mind off and just focusing. It takes some discipline and some effort for me because I'm always, thinking about stuff, mainly work.
Yeah, I think that is common challenge, I would say, for working moms is being present when you're there with them. And I saw a show years ago on Oprah, and she had stay-at-home moms versus working moms and looked at the adult children. And it wasn't whether you worked or you stayed home. It was whether when you were with them during that time on the boat, were you present? Were you listening? Were you there? And that's what matters. And I think some of the things I look back on that I didn't do so well is putting that phone down. Because that Outlook or that Teams message or that update that you want to give somebody, like that can wait, right? And I think that's a great boundary.
Yeah.
Keeps you present.
Yeah.
Yeah. And no Wi-Fi. I mean, you could try that too if the others don't work.
No, that's something Deanna will give me all kinds of eloquent words and cards and everything. I'm like, you're cool. Thanks.
That's such bullshit. I'm calling bullshit right here, right now, because she builds me up like nobody else. And so, but you like,
and not so many words.
You don't need to be like a lot of words because that's just bullshit. Like you're just like, this is what you need to do. This is, and you know me and you have my best interest. Stop your whining. Here's a paintbrush because I didn't want to paint last night, but you had.
Oh, you sat on the couch while me and Kathy finished up. I noticed. I didn't say anything. It's your house.
Yes, you did. I have the video, which I could post. No, you said it in the video last
night. What did I say?
You said your mom's just sitting on the couch while we're doing all the work.
Yeah, Cassie said, yep.
Yeah. We need to include the clip, the buzzer going off last night, because you had said you could paint an entire wall in an hour, and Cassie and I were like, bullshit, no way. You were like, yes, time me. And so Cassie turned on a timer, and it felt longer than an hour when we were painting.
Less than an hour if you weren't sitting on the couch watching us.
I didn't have a ladder. You were doing the top. Anyway, so we're like, the buzzer, she thinks like Cassie didn't set the timer, but Cassie did. It just hadn't gone off yet, right? You were like, oh, we didn't make it. And Cassie's like, no, it hasn't gone off. And then you got like the second freaking win of, you were like, oh, we are finishing the rest of this wall. you and Cassie like, and then the buzzer went off and she was like so upset. You were like, we didn't do it. And Cassie's like, I'm done. And you're like, I'm done. Like, we did it. And it was just like how you lead. You're like, we've got this in the last crunch. You're like, we can get this last order out today,
And
team.
you
We
recorded
can.
all that?
Oh, yeah, I've got it all recorded. And you dancing after it. We got it all. Yeah. Here, cheers. So, like I mentioned, like you're one of my people from the marketing class today forward. Best boss. I'm going to get
You're supposed to say
missile.
thank you.
Huh?
You're supposed to say thank you for being on my podcast.
I haven't done that yet.
Oh, okay. Just get to the point.
Stephanie, I want to thank you so much for being on the podcast. You are my friend inside, outside, and all around my life. And I appreciate you being here today and talking a little bit about your journey, our journey. And I thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me. Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks for listening to One More Cup. If this conversation sparks something for you, don't ignore it, because the people who move forward in their careers aren't waiting. They're having real conversations, honest ones, the kind that help you think differently, see differently, and move forward. So go start one, and I'll meet you back here for another cup. I'll see you next time.